Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Haven't said that in a while.
I wanna salsa with your daddy. You can feel it's pouring like it's raining. A day so sweet, just like I'm full of candy. 'Cause I wanna salsa with your daddy. Come away with that. 'Cause I wanna be on that. Come away with that. 'Cause I wanna be on that. On that.
As you can see, I'm in a new place. I look completely different. My hair is completely different. I mean, I've done this style before, but the point I'm trying to make is it's been a while. So I wanted this intro to be short, but I waited too long, so now I have to kind of explain myself. So let me take y'all back a bit. So it's March, right? Quarantine, yes. So, quarantine was a time when people, they did a lot of DIYs. I was one of those people. Quarantine was also one of those times where I wasn't seeing anybody, so I grew out my body hair. I'm the type of person where I really don't care about body hair. It's my body. If I want it to be there, I'm gonna not shave, But at the same time, sometimes I get into moods where I'm like, I want to shave. I want to be smooth. I don't want stubble, even though there's stubble, right? Anyway. So yeah, combine always doing DIYs with kind of wanting to, experiment with removing body hair, you get this video that you're about to see. So yes, in this video, I am making my own sugar wax. So the tutorial I followed is by A Between E on YouTube. She's great. She has a lot of sugar wax videos. This video is a semi-tutorial because I kind of didn't know what I was doing during the time, because during the time when I first made it, it was my first/second time making it. So yeah, after watching my video and you want to try based off my video and it doesn't work, watch her videos. I'll have it linked down below because she really thoroughly explains everything, and everything just makes sense with her tutorials because she does it all the time. She's done it more than me. She knows all the science behind it, all that. So if you still need help after watching my video on making your own sugar wax, check the description box out. She has a whole playlist of sugar wax videos, and she's constantly making new ones that are better explained in a way, even though she explains stuff great the first time. So you need 3 basic ingredients to make sugar wax, which is sugar, water, and lemon juice. In the footage that you're about to see that I have previously recorded, I'm using turbinado sugar. So yeah, it was a little bit of a learning curve for me because turbinado sugar is naturally brown. In the videos that I've seen on them making sugar wax at the time, because nowadays you can't really use color to judge if your wax is done, but back during March, March when I was first made this, I was like, oh snap, I don't have white sugar, so I can't tell if my wax is done by color. So you'll eventually see, I'll probably explain it later on in the video, the method I use to see my wax is done. But the thing about that, let me just explain what happened. So this video was basically done. I was ready to upload. I think I just had to tweak the voiceover and finish it off. So I showed my mom, and she said, you have to re-record the intro and the cooking part because I don't like the way my kitchen looks. I said, Mother, the video's done. It's ready to be uploaded. She said, I don't care. Knowing my mother, she really cares about stuff like that, so I had to do it. So I already re-recorded me cooking part, so the thing about that section of the video is that was already like my 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th time making wax. That was like in August, right before I left for school, when I re-recorded that. So at that point in time, I kind of already knew how to make it and knew how to make it correctly in a way. It still wasn't perfect, but it still was usable. I'm probably going to explain in voiceover why the wax that I ended up using to wax my body wasn't perfect, because in the video that I am going to put in this video, it came out pretty well. Like the recipe was almost perfect, like basically perfect. So yeah. Then the intro part, which is this, I'm just explaining to you what I do. So yeah, I use turbinado sugar. My mom didn't like the kitchen part, so I had to redo it because I recorded the intro in the kitchen too, and the kitchen part. Oh God, it was a lot. Also, mind you, I recorded this in March of 2020. March was the start of Corona. Well, not the start of Corona, but the start of like quarantining. So some of the terminology I'm going to be using is going to be like, oh, you can use it because, you know, a lot of waxing places are closed. Now, my say on that, the second wave is coming. It's October 1st right now that I'm recording this. The second wave is coming, sweetie, whether you want it or not. You know how America is. She's stubborn. So the second wave is gonna come. So you can still use this as one, a way to save money, and two, you know, in case places close again, you can use this to wax your own body for not free, but for cheap, because I'm pretty sure you probably have majority of these ingredients already in your house. So yeah, so don't mind me saying quarantine and all that stuff, even though most states are open. You know, you can still use this to save money, and you can do it yourself. You can do it for your friends, your family. You know, do what you please with this information that I'm about to show. Another disclaimer, you're gonna see my armpit hair. I grow a lot of armpit hair, but it's a waxing video. What did you expect? You're gonna see hair on my body. Also, I apologize about the audio. I was speaking quietly because it was at night at the time when I was recording that part. So you might have to like turn up your headphones just a little bit so you can hear what I'm saying. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoy. It's a long video, but you know, it's a lot of information and a lot of teaching that is going on. So hopefully you guys try this out on your own. I really recommend it because it is something fun and cool you can do. You know, it is good for the environment. You know, you're not being wasteful using waxes that aren't biodegradable and paper and stuff, you know, all that jazz. So let's get into the cooking. So as you can see, I'm using sugar in the raw, terminato sugar. As I open it, you can see how it is a brown color and it's not as fine as plain white sugar. So that's all we had in the house, so that's all I could use. Next, you'll need lemon juice, and the last thing you'll need is water. 3 simple ingredients, that's all you need. Now the measurements you need are 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of water. Once you put that all in the pan, you're gonna combine it, then you're gonna put the heat on. I recommend low to medium heat and just slowly warming it up, having it dissolve, then maybe turning up the heat to just medium, but not high. You don't want this to burn. It actually cooks kind of fast. I think the original footage was like 20 minutes maybe. It actually takes a short amount of time for the wax to be cooked. So once everything is combined like that, you know, turn on the heat, low to medium heat, and you just let it heat up. So this is the jar that I'm going to be storing my sugar wax in. I'm just applying some oil to it so when I store it and it cools off, it doesn't stick to the jar. Now this is sped up, but it actually does heat up quite fast. So although it might not look like I'm watching it, I am watching it, waiting for it to start to bubble. Once it starts to bubble, I'm going to continuously stir it so that all the sugar can dissolve. You'll see throughout the video on my spoon that I still have sugar crystals on it, and you have to, that's why I said start off with low heat, because you have to make sure all of that is dissolved before the sugar begins to set and to really cook. So start off low to make sure that all the sugar is dissolved, and then turn it up a little bit to fasten the process of it hardening for you to use. So right now I'm about to test my sugar. So I have a plate next to me. The first time I tried it, I had a bowl of water, which also works. Just you need something to place the sugar on to test if it's at the state that you need it to be. So as you're about to see, I'm going to place a little droplet, and it was way too watery. I didn't have to touch it to realize it. It just started moving around. So I placed the sugar back on the heat, and the second time it was still a little watery for my liking. I honestly could have just left it, and then once it dried it would have been good, but probably still a little bit watery. So I think after my third test it was perfect. you have to take the sugar off the burner when you're checking it. The first time I made it, I did not do that, so it overcooked, which you'll probably hear me say later in this video. So when you test your sugar, please take it off the burner so you can make sure that it doesn't overcook. The wax that I ended up having was actually pretty decent, so just test it out and make sure that the wax is the consistency that you need for whichever method you're doing. So here I am, honestly, I'm explaining it to my mom. So the first one was still a little watery after it dried. So I was explaining to her, you know, that would be good for strip wax. And then the second one, it was honestly pretty decent, but still a little too watery. And then the last one, you'll see I tested it on my arm and it was hot, so I had to kind of wait for it to cool down. But the last one, once it cooled, you know, I was able to knead it a little bit and it worked out perfect. So like I said, just test it out before you like finish cooking it. Make sure you take it off the burner so it doesn't overcook, and you can make your sugar wax. Now we finally made it to the end of the cooking process, so all you have to do is to take it off the burner and pour it into your previously oiled jar and or container. This is called the pour and store method. So you just pour it in, put your lid on, let it sit until it's 100% cooled off, and if you cooked it correctly, you should be able to just pull out a piece and start waxing yourself. If not, if you made it the way that I am using in the end of this video, you can microwave it a bit, or you can get one of those wax warmers that, you know, you can put your own containers in and warm it up that way. This wax is very versatile, and yeah, you did it. You made your own wax, so have fun. And cut. Okay, hey guys, so it's been a few days since I first made the wax. I poured it in my little mason jar to let it set, and honestly, it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. Yeah, it was extremely hard, still is. So as you see, I can stab it and it's not going anywhere. Obviously there are little dents, but it's not going anywhere. So yeah, that wasn't what I expected, and I almost threw it away. But my friends were like, microwave it, and I was like, you're right. And I like completely remembered that, you know, microwaving it, like reheating it, is an option. So I'm gonna put it in the microwave for like 10 seconds at a time, 15 seconds at a time. Usually I can put it in for like 15 to 30 seconds and it melts completely. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, so I'm back. I put it in for 20 seconds, and as you can see, some of it melted, not all of it, but I'm trying to like mix it up because I tested it out on my legs, I think yesterday, and it's like really hot and it gets hard to manage. So like when I go to knead it and actually like apply it to my skin, it gets really hot. So I might put it in for another 10 seconds just so like it can warm up and melt through, but not be so hot to the touch to where I can't knead it efficiently. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I put it in for another 10 seconds and this is what it's looking like. I could microwave it some more, but like I said, I want to be able to handle it without burning myself. So before I start, I want to let it sit and cool off for a bit before I start. I'm gonna get some cotton rounds and prepare the area that I'm going to be waxing. So be prepared that my armpits aren't as hairy as they could be, because trust me, I let my armpits get kind of bad sometimes, but that's because I don't really care about armpit hair. I don't know, I just wanted to test out the wax, but I'm gonna do my armpit on camera because I can't show you like my whole body. So this is what my armpit looks like. Not that much hair, it's not that long. Here's what it looks like. It's actually not as long as it usually gets. But you can see that this half of my armpit, it grows downward, and this area grows upward, and this kind of is just growing out, honestly. But that is what I'm working with. So I'm going to take some witch hazel and clean the area. Then I'm going to go in with some powder. This is cornstarch because we don't have baby powder, and I'm going to put that on top. Dip it in the powder, knock some off, because when I was testing it on my leg, I think I put too much powder because it was very like the glob of sugar wouldn't stick to my leg as like the first couple passes. So a little bit of powder, pat it on. Actually, I might need some more. Pat it on to absorb whatever sweat I could be producing, and the witch hazel, which honestly wasn't fully dry. Back to the gel. I'm going to take a glob. Oh, and I also have a small cup of water to also help with the heat when I start kneading, and also so it won't stick to my hand too much. So I wish I had like some popsicle stick type things, but like the large one for a body. I don't have that, so I'm taking these I have this mini skewer. I'm going to use that. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna wet my finger just a little bit though. Take it off. It's actually not that hot. I'm going to knead it. So just keep stretching and moving it around. Being quick, because it is hot sugar, and hot sugar does not feel pleasant on the skin. I actually burned myself the other day when I was testing it out. So as I knead it, you can see it's starting to get a little opaque. I'm gonna actually get some more water, just a little bit. When you first put the water on, it's like kind of hard to handle because it gets slippery and you get like syrup on your hands, but after a while, it gets easy. So it's getting more manageable. I can feel the stickiness, and it's getting to a point where it's still warm, but I feel like I'm still able to mold it onto the hair. So we're gonna try it. Mind you, I'm not a pro. I did test it out on my leg, but still maneuvering it is hard for me. So let's see how this goes. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction. See, it's not sticking. Let me wipe some more of the powder off, because that was my problem before. And I don't know if you can see, you can't really tell the difference on camera, but it's collecting some of the fuzziness from my cotton swabs. They're cheap, so I mean, I get why that happened. Paper towel. So wipe it off. That just made me mad. I'm gonna knead it some more. Try and get it. Let me wet my finger a little bit to try and get it to work a bit. From my experience with doing my leg, when it's like a little more slimy, whether that's from the water or just heating up, it like better stuck to my skin. So that's what I'm trying to recreate right now. I'm trying to just get it warm between my hands and also use some of the water that I put on my fingers. So let's try it again. Going up. Ooh, it's getting stuck already. Okay, so it's already kind of stuck. I'll use this as a like lever, I guess, to pull it off. So you have to pull the skin taut, then just yank. Now this, like, I'm already sweating again because, you know, I'm getting nervous. You know, I'm yanking hair out from my armpit. You know, when I did it on my leg, it was still the same type of pain, like the nervousness. Okay. You just gotta commit. That is the key. Just commit. Just do it. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be fun. So 1. This is my problem before. I like count down. Then as soon as I get to 3, I'm just like still not doing it. So, but the only way to get this off is to yank it, because wetting it and stuff, that's just gonna be too messy. You can already, I don't know if you can see, the hair is like on it. Probably can't see it on the camera, but pull it taut. 1, 2. Oh, I gotta like, ooh. as you can see. Some of the hair is taken off. Come on, focus. This is actually kind of gross, but y'all fine. Like, you clicked on a waxing video, so this is what you expected. You can kind of see the hair there. I find it fascinating that you can see like the bulb of the hair, like the follicle or whatever. It's cool. So after I'm done with that, I just knead it again, wet my fingers again. See, it hurt, but it's actually not that bad. Going to try again. You heard that? I don't know if you heard that, but that sounded crazy. And again, hair is collected. I don't know if it focused. And again, slowly but surely taking the hair off. So I will finish this armpit on camera, show you guys how I do it, and I will do my other armpit on my own, but I at least want to show you some more of how I do it. I might actually heat up some more and make it a larger ball because it's already starting to set. I can kind of see in the jar that it looks like it's setting because it's cooling. Yeah, so I mean, making sugar is trial and error. I mean, I feel you can probably go to like the dollar store and get a cheap bag of white sugar and just keep practicing on that pound or so, however much you get, because it does take a lot. When I was doing my research before, I followed a tutorial by A Between E. I'll link her channel and video down in the description box, but her tutorials is really good, but it still takes some time to get it on your own, especially for me, being I used a different kind of sugar, so it was hard for me to gauge. So that's why my first time ever doing it, it burned. And this time around, when I tested it, as you saw when I was putting it in the bowl of water, it was perfect. But my mistake, I think, was while I was testing it, it was still on the stove cooking more. So I probably should have took it off, tested it, and if it was perfect, then take it off. So it can just be soft to the touch as soon as I try. But regardless, I am pretty satisfied. I'm excited. I mean, I'm not as excited because I did already test it out on my leg, so I knew that it was working, like this recipe that I did. But honestly, it's an easy way to get your waxes done. And for people that probably more frequently get their waxes done, being we're on quarantine, you know, certain places are still shut down, you're able to do it at home. So yeah, so I'm going to continue to do my armpit on camera so you guys can see how I do it. It's not that bad, but it's still, you know, yanking hair out, so it hurts. There are a few straggles on the bottom, but I think I'm just gonna move on to the top just for the sake of the video. It's very scary yanking it out on your own, like your first time doing it. You might have to like call someone else to do it. I know I had my little sister pull it for me, but once you get into the rhythm of it, you just have to just remember to commit. Like, you can't do it halfway because it's gonna get caught and it's gonna hurt even more than if you just committed. It still kind of tingles and hurts, but I'm fine. It's fine. We're fine. It's fine. Yeah, that hurt. But look at how much came off. Like, that's like, wow, that whole chunk gone. I basically just have to do a cleanup job and get this middle section. But as you can see, it's really efficient and you can use the same piece. You just need it some more. And yes, the hair is still in there as you need it, but it shouldn't interfere with it. With my experience, the more I need it and just the more I use it, it becomes easier and it easily sticks to the hair. Because as you saw, like the first time I tried, it just wouldn't stick, so I had to wipe off some of the powder. Then maybe just the powder just making it more difficult to stick, but this is very efficient. I feel like this is going to be my main way. Now that I know how to do it, it's going to be my main way of hair removal because waxes just last longer than shaving. Another thing to note as you continue on, like obviously because it's a very nerve-wracking process, and also you're putting it on your body, and your body naturally is just warm, it might get very sticky. So that's when you would like use some of the water to kind of help repel. And if you need to repowder, do so. As you go through the process, the skin that already has the hair removed, it does get sticky, but I find just re-wiping with whatever cleanser, for me witch hazel, re-wiping with that removes the stickiness. Another tip, just breathe in, and as you're breathing out, rip it off, and that'll make it easier. I don't know if you can see it, I'm like getting glossier as I continue on, just because I'm sweating. It's an easy process. It's just your natural body's reaction to what you're doing to yourself. That is a majority of it. Still have some spots I need to get. I'm going to repowder because I don't know if you saw, but when I placed it down, it started peeling back a bit. I know if I were to just try and repowder, some of the fuzzies from the cotton pad would get on. Well, now that I'm wiped, you can kind of see the difference from before. This is before. A lot of progress, not perfect. Still have some spots I gotta get. I'm using it also to wipe some of the stickiness off my hands. Oh, another thing, you're probably watching this and seeing how messy it gets. You don't have to do it this method. I'm going to link her videos down below, but she also states that you can place it on and use reusable strips. So for her, she'll like cut up some cotton strips and she'll use that, and they're reusable. So if you just soak them in some water, the sugar will dissolve, and then you can probably just wash them and then reuse them again. But I do not have that, and I like the thought of just being able to use the ball of sugar, so that's why I'm kind of using it. It's getting really sticky. Wow. Like as I try and like get it off one finger, I gotta re-stick it off from another. It's fine. I'll be fine. I don't know if you can see, but that is a little blood, but I am fine. I mean, you're yanking hair out of your skin, so blood is expected. I knew it would have happened sooner or later. So this ball is getting quite difficult to work with, as you can see. If I were to add more water, it probably would be more difficult. So I'm going to discard it and come back to you guys and talk to you a bit. Okay, I am back. I washed my hands and I wiped my armpit down so it's nice and smooth. There are like a few stragglers left, but I can deal with those later. So final thoughts, I think this is a really good way to remove hair, especially if you usually wax or if you want longer lasting results. When you wax, you know, it takes the whole strand from root to tip. Usually when you shave, it's just shaving it down, so the rest that's underneath the skin just continues to grow. So I really like this method. As you can see, it works really well. Like, it's very smooth. Again, there are a few stragglers that I feel, but they're not really noticeable by the eye, and I can deal with those later. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you want to see more videos like this, if you want to see more sugaring videos, or just in general what you would like to see from this channel. I know I've been gone for some time, but I will be back. So thank you guys so much for watching. All resources that I use will be in the description box below. So from the tutorial that I used to the supplies that I used, they will all be listed below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.